Thank you for choosing Wisdom of the Dharma. If you found this video insightful, hit the like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a new update. Your support helps us keep sharing powerful, life-changing wisdom with the world. And don't forget to drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Let's grow and learn together. Part 1, The Invitation. When Leaves Whisper Prosperity. Have you ever walked into a space and felt something shift? Not a loud change, not a flashing sign, but a quiet knowing, like the air softened, like your breath deepened, like the space whispered, "You're safe here." Sometimes, that transformation begins with something as simple as a leaf in the corner of a room, near the doorway, atop a quiet shelf, a humble vine reaching toward the light, a presence that doesn't shout, but somehow changes everything. This is the quiet magic of the Pothos plant. To the untrained eye, it's just greenery, decorative, trendy, maybe even forgettable. But in the world of Feng Shui, and in the deeper world of Dharma, the Pothos carries a message. It is a symbol of life that continues, energy that grows, fortune that doesn't arrive through force, but through flow. And here's the real secret. It's not just the plant. It's where you place it. Because placement is intention. And intention is karma and motion. In today's journey, we're going beyond plant tips and home decor hacks. We're stepping into sacred ground, the space where outer placement mirrors inner readiness. Where every object in your home becomes a spiritual tool. And where one well-placed Pothos plant might open the energetic gate to wealth, clarity, and aligned abundance. I invite you now, before we begin, to pause. Look around your space. Feel into it. Ask yourself, where does energy feel stuck? Where do I feel uplifted? Where might life be asking me to make room for something new? Then, drop an intention into the comments below. It doesn't need to be perfect. Just heartfelt. Something like, I create space for blessings to arrive. I align my home with peace and prosperity. Or whatever rises from within you. And if you haven't yet, tap the like button, subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma, and turn on notifications. Not just for us, but as a gesture of alignment. A digital mudra that says, I am ready to receive. Because what we're about to explore is not just about plant placement, it's about energy literacy. It's about conscious living. It's about building a home that becomes a mirror of the mind, and a temple for the kind of life you truly want. So stay with me. The leaf is not just a leaf. The space is not just a space. And this video may be more than just a video. It may be the shift your energy's been waiting for. Let's begin. Part 2, Pothos as Dharma Practice, Not Just Decor. In Buddhism, we're taught that everything contains the Dharma, every object, every moment, every breath. Even a houseplant. The Pothos, often seen trailing gracefully from shelves or curling along window panes, is more than just an ornamental accent. It is, if we allow it, a teacher. A quiet one. A living one. A presence that turns our attention back to the rhythm of growth, the necessity of care, and the sacredness of small, repeated acts. You see, the Pothos doesn't shout for attention. It doesn't bloom extravagantly. It doesn't wilt dramatically when things go wrong. It simply grows, softly, patiently, humbly. And in this, it teaches us the essence of right effort. In the practice of Dharma, right effort isn't about pushing harder. It's about tending wisely. Knowing when to act, when to pause, and when to let go. The Pothos mirrors this perfectly. It asks for little, yet offers much. It thrives in modest light, survives neglect, and responds to our care with quiet vitality. Every time you water it, you are not just feeding roots. You are offering attention. Presence. Nourishment. You are practicing mindfulness. This is what transforms the Pothos from decor into Dharma. What would happen if, instead of rushing past it on your way out the door, you paused for a second, touched a leaf, took a breath, noticed its slow unfolding, its subtle shift toward the light? What would happen if you saw it not as just a plant, but as a companion on your path? This is the deeper Feng Shui, beyond furniture and corners. This is inner Feng Shui, the art of arranging our attention. Because here's the truth most overlook. If you place a pothos in the perfect southeast wealth corner, but never water it, what will happen? If you decorate your desk with greenery but let it yellow and die, the placement loses power. Because energy follows attention. In Buddhist terms, you must cultivate merit, not just intention. So before we talk about where to put the pothos, let's talk about how to meet it. Can you show up to it with care? Can you treat it like a living being with its own energetic imprint? Can you make it part of your spiritual rhythm? Tending to a pothos is not a chore. It's a chance. A chance to remember that growth is quiet. That wealth begins with presence. And that even a leaf can reflect the mind of an awakened heart. In the next section, we'll explore 5 powerful places to anchor your pothos and unlock wealth energy through intentional placement. But just know, the first place it needs to root is in your awareness. Before we move on to the 5 most powerful places to place your pothos, take a moment to reflect. If you've ever felt disconnected from your home or your own energy, perhaps it's time to reconnect, one leaf at a time. Drop a comment below with a simple affirmation like, I care for my space with awareness. Or, I cultivate calm, and abundance follows. And if this message resonates with you, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma, and turn on the notification bell, so you never miss a chance to align your space with intention, beauty, and flow. Now, let's explore where this gentle teacher, the pothos, can be placed to become a true magnet for harmony and wealth. Part 3, 5 Sacred Spaces, the best places to place your pothos. Place number 1, the front door, where fortune first knocks. In both Feng Shui and Buddhist teachings, the front door is not just a doorway, it is a threshold of karma. It is where energy, intention, and unseen opportunities flow in. The Dharma tells us that every external condition arises from internal causes. And the front door, quite literally, becomes the mouth of your home's energy body, the entry point where karma meets space. When you place a pothos plant near your front door, you're not decorating. You're welcoming. You're saying to the universe, I am ready to receive. The pothos, with its gentle vines and upward-reaching leaves, acts like a soft green guardian. Its energy filters the incoming qi, calming any chaos, slowing down the world's rush before it enters your sacred space. It doesn't block, it refines. Like a mindfulness bell that rings softly without sound. But placement here is not about symmetry. It's about alignment. In Feng Shui, placing the pothos on the left side of the door, as seen from inside the house looking out, is called positioning it on the green dragon side, the energetic embodiment of growth, reputation, and prosperity. In Buddhist cosmology, this correlates with the right conditions for merit to take root. Let me share a story. A woman I once guided, a teacher and mother of 2, struggled with tension at home. Her job felt draining. Her home, she said, felt static. I suggested something simple. Place a healthy pothos plant just left of her front door and, every morning before work, light a single stick of incense in front of it and silently offer this thought. May good energy enter with every step I take today. She laughed at first, thinking it was too small to matter. But a few weeks later, she wrote to me. Her mornings felt calmer. Her kids seemed less agitated. She started receiving unexpected help from coworkers, even a side opportunity to tutor, bringing extra income. The home hadn't changed. But she had. And the doorway had become a ritual, not just a route. This is what happens when the ordinary becomes sacred. Just be sure not to place your pothos directly in the path of movement. Energy should flow, never trip. Slightly off to the side is perfect, as long as it remains visible, green, and cared for. A withering plant at the entry doesn't block bad energy, it invites it. So, as you pass through your door today, ask yourself, is my entrance simply open, or is it welcoming? Is there a signal, even a small one, that says, this is a space of peace, growth, and fortune? Sometimes, a single vine can carry that message. And sometimes, that's all it takes to shift a life. Place number 2, the Southeast Wealth Corner, planting where energy accumulates. If the front door is where energy enters, then the southeast corner is where it gathers, deepens, and begins to multiply. In classical Feng Shui, the southeast sector of a home is known as the wealth corner, the area governed by the wood element, associated with growth, expansion, and long-term abundance. It is the place where dreams root down and slowly become reality. But here's what many forget: wealth is not about accumulation alone. In both Dharma and Feng Shui, true wealth is about sustainable flow, not how much you can hold, but how harmoniously you allow it to move through your life. And the pothos plant, soft yet persistent, mirrors this perfectly. Its climbing vines and heart-shaped leaves symbolize generosity, continuous growth, and emotional openness. When placed in the southeast, it harmonizes with the surrounding wood energy and amplifies its presence. The result? A quiet magnetism, one that draws in not just financial luck, but also the right people, the right ideas, and the right timing. Let me tell you a story. A couple I once counseled had been running a small artisan bakery. They worked hard, up at dawn, managing everything themselves, but profits never seemed to match the effort. When I visited their home, their southeast corner was cluttered, boxes of unsorted paperwork, an old cabinet blocking the light. I recommended they clear that space completely, open the windows, and place a thriving pothos plant in a simple earth-tone pot. They added a trio of golden coins at its base and a quartz crystal beside it. And most importantly, every morning, they would water the plant and speak one line aloud. May this home grow in peace, love, and fortune. They didn't change their marketing. They didn't raise prices. But within 2 months, they were receiving large pre-orders from unexpected sources, including a hotel chain that became a long-term client. Coincidence? Perhaps. But the Dharma would say, conditions ripen when you tend the causes. To make the most of this sacred corner, keep it clean, uncluttered, and visible. Choose a healthy pothos with full, green leaves. Its condition reflects your current fortune. Use a pot in green, brown, or even deep gold tones to anchor and enhance wood energy. Consider adding supporting elements, small wind chimes, a bowl of polished stones, or an image of Lakshmi or the Bodhisattva of abundance. And above all, approach it not as superstition, but as sacred care. Tending this plant becomes a daily practice in generosity, patience, and faith. Because in the Dharma, what you nurture with loving attention is what grows. Place number 3, the living room, cultivating connection and harmony. We often think of the living room as just a place to sit, watch TV, or welcome guests. But in the energetic language of both Feng Shui and Dharma, this space is the face of your home's soul. It is where energy settles after it enters through the front door. It is where family karma plays out, through laughter, conversation, even arguments. It is where emotional imprints are left behind, whether joyful or tense. And because of this, the living room holds immense power. When it is cluttered, the mind feels restless. When it is bare, relationships may feel hollow. But when the space is harmonized, with light, warmth, and a touch of green, it becomes what the Buddha called a favorable condition, a place where wholesome seeds can take root. This is where the Pothos shines. With its soft vines and gently cascading leaves, the Pothos brings a calming presence into a space often filled with noise and activity. It works quietly, like a silent bell, restoring balance, soothing sharp edges, and inviting emotional ease. A story comes to mind. A man I once guided lived alone in a large apartment. Though it was tastefully decorated, he said it always felt emotionally cold. He'd sit in his living room scrolling endlessly on his phone, feeling disconnected, even when his friends came over. I suggested something unusual. Don't buy new furniture. Don't rearrange anything. Simply place a healthy pothos in the far right corner of the room, an area tied to love and relationship energy in Feng Shui, and water it every Sunday while repeating this thought. I make room for warmth and meaningful connection. 2 months later, his space felt different. He told me, I don't know why, but people linger longer now. Conversations are deeper. And honestly, I feel more at home in my own skin. That's the unseen power of alignment. In Buddhist thought, this is no mystery. Our external space reflects our internal state. When we soften the outside, we soften the inside. When we place beauty in our surroundings, we remember the beauty that still lives in us. Placement tips for the living room. Let the pothos hang gently from a high shelf, or sit near the sofa where conversation flows. Keep it visible, but not central, like a gentle companion, not a centerpiece. Avoid placing it directly under harsh lights or next to electronics. Let it live in balance. In this way, your living room becomes more than a gathering space. It becomes a circle of presence, where attention meets affection, and energy finds rest. And when harmony lives in your shared spaces, wealth isn't far behind. Place number 4, your work desk, the Dharma of daily effort. Your work desk is more than a piece of furniture. It is a sacred station, where thoughts become actions, intentions become income, and karma becomes visible. Whether you are writing proposals, sending emails, teaching, designing, or simply organizing your day, this space is where your energy becomes material. In Buddhist terms, this is the realm of Chan Tin Tan, right effort. It is where you meet the world with your skills, your patience, and your will. And just like a shrine deserves incense and order, your desk deserves clarity and care. That's why placing a pothos plant here isn't just for aesthetics. It's an energetic gesture. A visual reminder to breathe, grow, and keep showing up. Pothos, with its resilience and slow, steady growth, echoes the ideal work ethic. Not rushed, not stagnant, just consistent, grounded progress. Its soft green presence can calm overstimulation, helping to reduce anxiety and mental clutter. When your mind is tangled, a pothos plant nearby feels like a soft untangling. Here's a story that stays with me. A graphic designer named Claire once told me how she constantly felt behind. Every deadline brought dread. Her desk was covered with clutter, mugs, tangled wires, unread notes. She said she often sat down feeling scattered before she even started working. I asked her to begin with one change. Clear the desk. Place a pothos plant in the upper left corner, the wealth and creativity zone in Feng Shui. And each morning, before touching her keyboard, take 30 seconds to look at the plant and say, "Today, I grow with clarity and ease." Within weeks, Claire reported surprising changes. "I still get overwhelmed sometimes, she admitted, but I recover faster. And weirdly, clients are saying my work feels more alive. That's not coincidence. That's alignment. Tips for your desk or workspace. Choose a healthy pothos in a ceramic or wooden pot, materials that ground energy. Avoid putting it directly between you and your monitor. Let it support, not distract. Consider pairing it with a small crystal, incense holder, or even a single inspiring quote. And at the end of the day, water it with the same care you wish to receive from the world. When you treat your workspace as a sacred place, your work reflects it. Decisions become clearer. Communication softens. Creativity flows. And over time, the desk becomes a Dharma gate, a place where effort becomes blessing. Because as the Buddha taught, right livelihood begins not with the job, but with the mind that shows up to do it. Place number 5, the balcony or rooftop, where earth meets heaven. If your front door is where energy enters, and your desk is where energy is directed, then your balcony or rooftop is where energy is gathered from the cosmos itself. These are the lungs of your home, open, elevated, connected to the wind, the sun, and the sky. In Feng Shui, these spaces are considered powerful sources of yang energy, active, expansive, illuminating. But unless balanced, yang can be overwhelming. Too much stimulation. Too much exposure. Too much pressure. This is where the Pothos offers something extraordinary. Placed on a balcony or rooftop, the Pothos becomes a natural regulator, softening intense qi, catching wild gusts of energy, and anchoring the space with its calm, cascading vines. It turns the rooftop into a refuge, the balcony into a breathing space. Let me share a personal story. Years ago, I lived in a dense city apartment. Concrete towers blocked the sunset, traffic roared below, and my mind often felt like it never landed. I was doing everything right, meditating, working, eating well, but peace felt just out of reach. Then one morning, I took a single pothos plant, rescued from a dying corner, and placed it at the far end of my small balcony. I sat beside it, just for 5 minutes. No phone. No task. Just breathing with the wind. That became my new morning ritual. A week later, I added a small cushion. A month later, a bell. Eventually, I realized this wasn't just a balcony, it had become my rooftop shrine. A place where the earth supported me from below, and the sky received my breath from above. And the pothos? It thrived, its green heart-shaped leaves glowing like lanterns. Somehow, so did I. Tips for your balcony or rooftop. Place the pothos near corners where wind gathers, allowing it to catch the qi. Use clay or ceramic pots, materials that stabilize energy in open spaces. Combine it with spiritual items, a wind chime, a small elephant statue facing inward, or a bowl of river stones. Sit beside it, even just once a week. Not to think. Just to be. In Dharma, we are told to look up at the sky, and down at the soil, both are part of your practice. The balcony, then, is not a leftover space. It is a bridge. A place where your life and the greater forces meet. And the pothos? It's the quiet witness. Grounded. Gentle. Rooted in this world, and still reaching. Sometimes, wealth doesn't come from what's stored in your bank, but from what's restored in your breath. And this is the kind of space where that restoration begins. Each of these 5 spaces, the front door, the wealth corner, the living room, the desk, and the balcony, are not just locations. They are opportunities. Opportunities to anchor intention, to cultivate harmony, and to let the energy of growth flow naturally through your life. When the pothos is placed with care, it becomes more than a plant. It becomes a blessing rooted in form. But just as important as knowing where to place it, is knowing where not to. Because even good energy, placed without wisdom, can become stuck. Let's now explore the hidden mistakes, those subtle misplacements that might be quietly draining your luck without you even realizing it. If these teachings have sparked reflection, let them take root. Leave a comment with your favorite spot from the 5 we've explored, or share where you plan to place your pothos with intention. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma and tap the bell icon, so each new teaching arrives like a gentle breeze at your doorstep. Now, let's continue the journey by learning what to avoid. Part 4, Wealth Blockers, where not to place your pothos. Not everything that brings fortune in one space will do the same in another. Let's explore a few places where pothos energy can quietly backfire, blocking wealth, stirring imbalance, or draining the vitality of your space. Number 1. The kitchen, where fire burns through wood. The kitchen is a zone of high fire energy, stoves, heat, grease, movement. The pothos, by contrast, belongs to the wood element, soft, cool, steady. According to the 5 elements theory, fire overcomes wood. That means placing pothos in a cramped, hot kitchen subjects it to elemental conflict. In spiritual terms, it's like placing a gentle monk in the middle of a battlefield. It will wither. A client once shared her frustration that nothing ever stays fresh in her kitchen, not food, not mood. A glance revealed her pothos tucked between the stove and microwave, wilting in the heat. After removing it, and replacing it with a small cactus, strong fire/earth energy, the room's energy shifted. Even my cooking tastes calmer now, she laughed. Lesson? If you want plants in the kitchen, choose those that thrive in fire-dominant environments. The pothos deserves gentler ground. Number 2. A sealed bedroom, where breath should rest. Bedrooms are sanctuaries of yin energy, receptive, quiet, passive. Yet the pothos, especially in vigorous growth, carries active life force. In a closed, unventilated bedroom, this creates a mismatch. Worse, at night, the pothos, like most plants, releases carbon dioxide, competing for oxygen in sealed air. For sensitive sleepers, this subtle shift can cause unrest or shallow sleep. Beyond the science, there's also symbolic dissonance. The bedroom should invite rest, not growth. Stillness, not stimulation. Instead of pothos, consider quartz crystals, a simple Buddha image, or a small succulent, silent allies for deep sleep. Number 3. Narrow hallways, where flow becomes obstructed. Hallways are energetic rivers, connecting rooms and distributing qi. A pothos placed here can become a physical and energetic obstruction, especially in tight spaces. You may not notice it at first. But if you're constantly brushing past leaves, adjusting the pot, or tripping over a vine, irritation builds. And irritation, according to Dharma, is the beginning of mental suffering. Keep your hallways clear. Let energy glide like water. Let your steps remain mindful, unbroken. Number 4. Behind furniture, where light doesn't reach. Perhaps the most common, and silent, wealth blocker, placing your pothos behind a couch, a TV cabinet, or a wardrobe. Plants need light, air, and attention. Hidden behind bulk, they slowly decay. And as they decay, they become symbols not of life, but of forgotten intention. In Dharma, what we neglect becomes the karma we carry. Let your pothos be seen. Let it breathe. Let it reflect your care. Because in the end, it's not about whether you own a pothos. It's about whether you're in relationship with it. Part 5, Final Reflection. Wealth grows where awareness goes. We began this journey with a simple question: where should I place my pothos to attract wealth? But now, we see that the real question is deeper. It's not just about the placement of a plant. It's about the placement of your attention. Because energy doesn't respond to decoration. It responds to presence. In Buddhist thought, karma arises from intention and action. The things we tend to with care, whether it's a child, a practice, or a living plant, become mirrors of our inner world. When we water a pothos with mindfulness, we're not just nourishing leaves. We're cultivating our own capacity to grow. Wealth, in this light, is not something outside of us. It's not won through chance or force. It's a condition that arises naturally, when internal and external harmony meet. The pothos, then, becomes a spiritual object. A reminder that even soft things can be strong. That beauty doesn't need to shout. That slow growth, nurtured consistently, is more powerful than any shortcut. When placed wisely, this plant reflects balance. When placed without thought, it reveals neglect. In both cases, it tells the truth, not about your home, but about your relationship with energy. So if you truly wish for abundance, not just financial, but emotional, spiritual, and relational, begin not by rearranging your furniture, but by rearranging your attention. Look at your space not with judgment, but with curiosity. Ask, where am I open? Where am I stagnant? Where have I stopped caring? Then place your pothos not only where the light reaches, but where your heart does too. Because in the end, it's not about the plant. It's about the practice. And as the Dharma reminds us, what you cultivate with awareness becomes the fruit you live with. If this journey with the pothos has opened something within you, a new way of seeing your space, or perhaps a deeper way of relating to your energy, honor that. Share your reflection in the comments. Where do you plan to place your pothos? What part of your home, or your heart, feels ready to grow? If this teaching resonated, let it ripple. Like this video. Subscribe to Wisdom of the Dharma for more practices that bring harmony to both home and mind. And turn on the notification bell, so each new lesson arrives when you're ready to receive it. Your home is already sacred. This is just the beginning of remembering how to live in it. With care. Until next time. Breathe deeply. Walk gently. Place with love. And let good things find you.